Good evening. Hello. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay. It's a small enough group I could not use a mic, but the acoustics aren't great, so we're going to use the mic if that's okay. Okay. It's been a while since we've been back in person to have these events, right? So we're very excited about this. This is going to be a great night just to learn a little bit more about the college process and how, when they're taking high school classes and college classes at the same time, how that whole process works, and to kind of put your mind at ease how this process works. And we're going to do a lot of introductions today as well, and we will have time for some questions, okay? So, let's do the next one. Okay, so topics covered today. Yeah. Okay, so introductions first. So I'm Claire Contreras. I'm the high school counselor here at Mount Sac Early College Academy. And then I have with me.
Hi everyone, my name is Destiny. I am one of the college counselors. I primarily work with dual enrollment, sometimes special admit. I went to Cal State Long Beach, I loved it, that's modern. I'm excited to be here and to serve your students.
Hi, good afternoon everybody. My name is Maria Haro, and I'm also one of the Mount Sac Dual Enrollment counselors. Today is my first day, so I'm excited to get to know the students and the campus culture and how I can support you and your family. So thank you for being here today. I'm Marissa Figueroa. I work at Mount Sac in the Dual Enrollment office. So there's a team of us that assist students and the high school liaison, the process of getting students enrolled and ensuring their support and connecting with the counselors.
Hi, good evening. Oh my gosh, I'm glad you made it before it really started raining, and hopefully it ends before we leave. But my name is Lena Soto, and I am the Associate Dean of Counseling at Mount Sac Women's College. So I get to work with all of these wonderful ladies here, and actually I'm a parent of a Mount Sac Early College Academy student as well. So I understand what you're going through, understand the process, and the insuredness of some of it, and but we have a great team here. So just so that like when you're emailing or you're hearing these people's names, you know who's associated with Mount Sac College and who's associated with the high school. And again, keep saying the word team, because truly we work together to best support your students. So here's the topics we're covering today. So introductions, dual enrollment versus special admit, associate's degree versus an ADT, and then educational plans and resources available to support you. Oops. Okay, so these are some of the values of taking the college classes, right? So as you know, when you learned about the school, you learned about getting 2 years of college credit, possibly an AA degree, anything else that someone maybe chose this school for. Any volunteers? We're going to call some students out. What advantages you have by coming here?
Sure, that.
Yeah, come on.
Special admin, specifically
Right. So taking classes that maybe align more with your major, exactly. So getting like that, your feet wet when it comes to taking college classes and being prepared to go to college. So whether that's feeling more confident, the college transition is smoother, and again, you could potentially complete all of your lower division requirements for an associate's degree towards your bachelor's degree. Okay? So these are the dual enrollment college classes we offer here. So these ones are the classes that are built into the high school schedule. So starting as a 10th grader, they're going to take these college classes. Some of them are taking the class over the summer. So some students will be taking Anthro, Bio, or Music 15 over the summer. And then next year they'll take a foreign language, and those other ones they don't take in summer. 11th grade, summer, and during the school year, and then 12th grade. So just by completing these courses, they'll complete those 2 years of their GE classes, okay? Which saves you a ton of time and a ton of money. Because as you know, when you go to college, you have to retake like humanities and arts, all these different fields all over again. Like they're doing that while they're in high school here, simultaneously while completing their high school diploma and their A through G requirements for college headings. Okay? So we just started this process. Who do I have of current 9th graders in here? Any current 9th graders? Okay. So I just met with them on Friday to go over this process for the first time because there are very many steps. And it's really important that the first time we do these things, you do them the right way and that you get used to it because every single term, they're going to have to reapply for a new term and then register for their classes. So one way that they do it is they request the course through me or through Google Form or through Aries. We've talked about all these different words with them. But basically when it comes down to it, they're going to be a college student, right? So there's a college application process through Mount SAC that they have to enroll through Mount SAC as well. So we created an account on Friday together through something called CCC Apply. They create their account, they've applied for summer and for fall, most of them at this point. Then they're going to get a welcome email with an A number, which is their Mount SAC college ID number, and a login. And then they're going to fill out a parent-student form, complete an assessment questionnaire, and finally the last step is to register with a CRN number for a spot in the class. So again, it's many steps, but what I always will assure students is that if you're missing any of these steps, I will find you, and I will make sure you do it. I know it's a big fear of our students and our parents, like, did my student do everything they need to do? I promise you, because it's built into their schedule, I will make sure that they do what they need to do, okay? But checking your email, checking that parent square and student square is super important to make sure you do these steps on time, okay? And that you don't have to hear from me. Okay. This presentation is going to be available tomorrow as well, so if you do need to access it, please know you don't have to take pictures if you don't want to, but please go ahead and do so if you need to.
So I wanted to touch on special admin, right? We had special admin mentioned already. So Ms. Contreras talked about those dual enrollment classes, those classes that are built into the school schedule, right? So what if a student wants to get an associate's degree? What if a student wants to explore other topics, take a look at other options? Special admin would be the best option for you or the best solution for you. So what is it? Special admin is open to a few high school students who want to take college courses at the Mount SAC campus. So those dual enrollment classes are built into the schedule and are here on this campus, right? Special admin classes are offered at the main college campus. Some of the classes can be online, but if they're in person, students have to remember that they have to find a way to get to the college campus. And those classes that are selected have to be outside of that school bell schedule, right? Because you're not going to leave in the middle of the day to go to the college campus and then come back here and take the rest of your classes. You want to make sure it's outside of that school bell schedule. Special admin courses are offered for the fall, spring, and summer sessions. And doing a special admin class can allow a student to get an associate's degree for transfer. It is possible, but it does depend on a lot of factors, right? It depends on the student. It depends on their grades. It depends on if the class is being offered. It depends on if the class is full, right? Is there a wait list? So there's a lot of moving pieces that kind of make special admin. It has to be kind of like a perfect storm, if you will, because so many pieces are moving. So I have a lot of students come to me and they're like, I absolutely want a degree. And I tell them, I can work with you on the best way to get that degree, but I can't guarantee that that will happen by the time you graduate high school. So I just want everybody to know, a lot of moving pieces go into taking special admin classes and then also getting the degree on top of that. So the difference between your dual enrollment and your special admin classes. So for dual enrollment, the college classes are taken during the high school bell schedule, like I mentioned, and those college courses will satisfy IGETC general education. So these yellow sheets that you have in front of you, these ones, this is IGETC, right? So IGETC is the Intersegmental General Education Transfer Curriculum. We just say IGETC because no one's going to say that every time. So those dual enrollment classes satisfy this. So the options that you have here on campus should satisfy that yellow sheet. And then it's a free textbook process, right? So for special admin, those college courses are taken at the Mount SAC campus or online. Those college courses would be those that interest you or help you to get an associate's degree. The textbook cost is not covered, so keep in mind that you as a student and as a family, you would incur that textbook cost, pretty much. It wouldn't be provided. And students do have to attend a special approval session to be approved for special admit courses. With special admit and dual enrollment, those courses are covered. The cost of the course is covered. But dual enrollment, the textbook is covered. Special admit, the textbook is not covered. So just keep that in mind. And textbooks can get a little pricey, as we all know. And then in the middle, like I was mentioning, those courses are free. Students must apply to Mount SAC and fill out the special packet. They also have access to Mount SAC resources, and you will always have a dedicated counselor to help you. So you'll have me, you'll have Maria, you'll have Ms. Contreras. We'll always help you through the special admit and dual enrollment process. So I'm going to pause here really quick just to see if there's any questions or anything I can clarify. Because I know it's a lot of information. Sorry.
I do have a question. So let's assume they satisfy everything for the special ed. Is there a certain amount of percentage or amount of kids that are allowed to take it, or is it not matter?
Do you want?
Yes, there is. You want to
Okay, so just to clarify, you mean if they complete all the dual enrollment courses that we offer here in the bell schedule?
So let's say that that's automatic in their
Yes.
schedule.
Right.
But they decide they want to do the special ed and they've had everything they need, like grades, the proof, all
Yes.
that.
Yes.
What else, or is there a limited amount of students or percentage of kids that can get into a special ed?
Yes, so
And how is that determined?
typically it's 5% of each grade level, which, as you know, we're a small school, so it doesn't really work out to be that many students. It's really just an individual basis of like, I don't even know how to clarify that part, but basically an individual thing, but
So technically, yes, there is in our policy for the college that there's only 5 to 10% of each school that's allowed to do special admit. However, we are in partnership with this academy. So that allows for some more flexibility. And we have not questioned that yet. Yes.
Okay, so my question is there any reason probably they're not going to be able to make it to special ed? Maybe they have everything. What will be a reason not to make it to go into? What is it like? Bad grades or what?
Yeah, there's actually several reasons.
There's a lot. Thanks, Lena.
Different reasons.
So a reason that a student might not be approved for special admit, your high school grades do matter, so your high school performance, your previous college grades, your college performance, also space in the class. So sometimes let's say students have everything, their grades are fine, the packet's fine, everything's great. Special admit students get the last date of registration because Mount SAC, they get, I don't want to say prioritize, but I guess prioritize the college students at Mount SAC, right? Because for high school, all of this is extra, it's special. So sometimes the classes fill up and the students might put themselves on a wait list, but they might not get a spot. And in that circumstance or situation, we would wait a semester and possibly try again the following semester. So space can be like an issue a lot of the time. But it's usually grades and space. Yeah. Great question. Yes.
Are those special ed classes offered in summer?
Yes, we so on the previous slide, we offer fall, spring, and summer. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So moving forward, in any semester, the kids in the school only are able to register for a class the last day up.
For special admin, only for special admin. For dual enrollment, those spots are yours. Yeah. So for special admin, that's the way that it's always worked. Always the last registration of all of the students.
The college and.
So what is the approval process for those special ed?
The approval process, I don't think we did we include it on here?
I think so with the,
I think we might have.
the timeline.
Yes, we will go over it once again. Okay, yes, great question. Thank you.
So I guess, sorry, so the reality is only 5% of each grade level, or 5% of the senior class will graduate with an A. Because only 5% are allowed to take the special ed.
Well, and then just to touch base on that, we have a lot of students that have taken special ed. I would say the majority of our senior classes take a class via special admit, but not all of them are going to graduate with an AA or an AST or an AAT because that's not necessarily something they needed. So we have a couple students like that have 60, 70 plus units, but they didn't go for the AST. They just went for some like lower division courses for their major. So they did take special admit, but they didn't necessarily complete an AA degree. So it wasn't like by limitation that we were providing, it just didn't make sense for their schedule and they kind of hit their maximum.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's where it's really important that your student work with a counselor because the end result isn't always going to be a degree. I mean, that may not be actually what's in your student's best interest. And so all of that counseling that goes on is really to determine what would be best based on what they want to do for a bachelor's degree or a master's or even a career, right? So based on all that information, and the counselors say, okay, your major doesn't necessarily, you can get an AA in this, but that's not going to benefit you most when you actually go on for your bachelor's degree. Let's look at what's going to benefit you. So that's where they're going to do that work. The other thing is, like I said, because we're in partnership, Mount SAC is part of this school, right? So we're not questioning the 5%. That's what all the other schools are held to. But this school, we know that students are eager to take their college courses. And so if they meet the requirements, they meet with the counselors. We are looking at the number of units, and I know they're going to get into that a little bit more. So there's other reasons why a student may not. Special admit really is for students trying to do more than their regular high school. Obviously, we're already doing more than our regular high school here at this school. So when if students run into issues, we may even say, maybe this semester isn't a good time for special admit, even though you really want to. We're going to say, you need to take a break because you didn't maybe do so well, or maybe you dropped that class. That we said, go ahead and do the next time. So it comes in, and that's why the counseling is so important, because there may be different reasons. They may still meet the requirement. We have students that have a 4.0, but they kept dropping their special admit class. It's a privilege, right, to take this class and have to take that spot. So you're going to keep dropping, we're not going to keep approving. So there's those things that we have to take into consideration as well.
Thank you.
And so just like as an incoming 10th grader, like you're super excited to take your college classes, but we've never seen your performance with any college class, right? So we have no prior performance. So it's not typical for incoming 10th graders to take special admit. I'm not saying it can't be done, but again, the whole process is just a very individual, because it's kind of taking a gamble, and we don't want you to hurt your academic transcript in some way. We'd rather have you start with the one and then maybe move it to others, but individual basis for sure.
I hope that will clarify.
I just wanted to clarify too, there isn't a limit on how many students can get the degree. So we don't say like, oh, only 5% of students of the graduating class, can get a degree. If they meet the requirements, definitely go. Thanks for all your questions. They were very good. So some special admit considerations. So you were asking like, why would a student not, do special admit? So it depends on the Mount SAC offering. Maybe that class isn't offered that semester. Maybe it's full. Maybe they need to get on the wait list. The course must be outside of the high school bell schedule. Pretty much night classes or late afternoon classes, transportation to campus. There needs to be available seats in the class. So sometimes with registration, like I mentioned, the date, we talked a lot about this already. Students may need to wait list. And then balancing high school and college classes, right? We don't want students to take these college classes and then not pass them, right? We want to make sure, especially for college and just in the future, that these classes are passed. So keep in mind that taking, 7 or more units plus your high school classes plus your dual enrollment classes, it can be a lot. And so maybe, right now might not be the right time. Maybe the following semester we can have a conversation and figure that out. And then grades from your 10th and your 11th grade year are super important. These college class grades are super important, so we want to make sure you're doing well all around. And also students have to consider, extracurricular, if they're working, applying to colleges, maybe visiting colleges, just a lot that you have to consider that's on your plate. So extra special admit considerations. And then timeline. So you're asking about, what's the process. So you would need to make an appointment with the college counselor, so you have to talk to me or Maria prior to completing the packet. Your packet won't be approved if you don't speak with the college counselor first. And then you'll complete the special admit packet with a parent, a guardian, and the high school. So that means Ms. Contreras needs to see the packet, needs to sign off on it, parents need to sign off on it. It's a lot of people that need to sign off on, your student taking this college class, this additional college class. RSVP and attend the special admit approval session. That's going to be through Mount SAC. We've been doing them on Zoom, and that's been working. So students, typically, as of late, haven't been having to go to a college. I imagine that's going to continue for the foreseeable future. But if that changes, we will absolutely let you know. Some of those approval sessions are with the college counselors. So the college counselors do the returning student sessions. So it expedites the process, right? Like you have us one-on-one that can help your student much faster. And then we also sometimes do new student sessions as well. So your student will likely speak with us again. And then students need to register for that approved course and then attend class, right? Utilize campus resources, tutoring, library, counseling, all that good stuff. So is social admin for every student? No. But we want to find out if it's for you, right? So please make an appointment with one of us. We can absolutely talk about it. Even if you're just interested, if you're like, I'm not really sure if I want to major in, I don't know, administration of justice. Maybe we can take a class one semester. You can see how you like it. We can talk about it further. Social admin is also really good for exploration. It's not just for students who are absolutely sure about what they want to do. You can use it as an opportunity. Alrighty, so that leads me to associate's degrees, right? So one of the main reasons why students will do special admit is because they want to get an associate's degree. So half of that associate's degree is IGETC, right? So you're doing that already here at the high school. That other half is going to be those major classes, and that's going to be through special admit. So is there a difference between an associate's degree and an associate's degree for transfer? Yes, there is. I'm going to talk about those differences kind of here. So, people are used to the AA degree, right? AA, AS, everybody kind of is, kind of familiar with that type of degree. We do also have associate's degrees for transfer. Your students won't be transfer students, but these degrees are aligned perfectly with the Cal State system, and it ensures that if students have that degree, they get a bunch of benefits. So it's a streamlined pathway that helps students prepare to transfer to a Cal State. It guarantees admission to a CSU, not the school of your choice necessarily, but one of the CSUs. If you have a minimum of 2.0, complete 60 transferable units, IGETC, and your major prep, and your electives if needed, those are the requirements for the associate's degree for the perks that I was talking about, the guaranteed admission. And need to only complete about 60 units once they get to the university, and then they're done. Right? So that means that you did your 2 years here, you do a couple more when you get to that Cal State or UC, wherever you would like to go, and then you're completely done. So it saves you a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy. So the associate's degrees for transfer can be really beneficial for that. If you have a student who wants an associate's degree who does not want to attend a Cal State, that's also perfectly fine. Let's say they want to go to a UC or a private school. It won't give them the same perks that I've outlined here, but it's still a wonderful thing to do. You absolutely can still do that. So I just want to kind of talk about, why we call them associate's degrees for transfer, because sometimes people are like, what is that? What is that transfer piece? Is my student a transfer student now? Not necessarily. It just gives you these perks that I mentioned. Any questions about that?
It's a lot of info.
It's a lot, yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot to process. Okay, I'm going to hand it back off. I think this is Thank you.
Okay, so remember, dual enrollment, the classes during the high school schedule. Special admin, extra, can work towards your AA degree. But we're guaranteeing by the classes they take here to finish IGETC, to complete your 2 years of your GED, okay? So, but with that, if you're interested in an associate's degree for transfer, these are the most attainable ones, okay? With just maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 extra classes by taking special admin, they can complete an ADT in one of these areas. Okay, we have had students interested in other areas. One of our students is taking those 73.5 units to Berkeley with her. She's not going to get an associate's degree for transfer, but she still is fulfilling a ton of classes, and she's only going to need to take like 9 classes at Berkeley when she gets there to fulfill her major. So, but these are the most attainable. Questions about these ones? Okay, so we talked about how it takes a lot of extra time, right? Next year, or if you're currently taking college classes, you know, that I see some of our current 10th and up students, it's a lot of extra coursework. Each college class, you basically have to, for every unit, 2 hours of studying a week. So if they're taking 10 units of college courses, which could potentially be you or your student, how many hours outside of class do they need to study? Come on, let's do some math. Tell me. 20, yeah. So that's 20 hours just for your college classes. And you have like 6 high school classes at the same time. And maybe you're working, maybe you're in ASB, maybe you're something else.
I want to throw a little wrench in there. For math and science classes, they recommend 3 to 4 hours for every unit that you're in, for every unit, 3 to 4 hours of study.
Yes, and I also see some students that are taking our college math in here, and I'm not going to put them on blast, but I'm sure that they know it takes a lot of time. And, you know, there's resources to help you, right? There's support along the way, but it's definitely more difficult because you're in a college level class, okay? So something to consider as far as your balance. As a high school counselor, I talk about this all the time because burnout or putting too much on your plate is really, it's really a big problem. So I really want you to evaluate your kind of work-life balance, right? So that you're balancing your extracurricular, you're having fun and enjoying your high school experience, but you're also pushing yourself, right? Academically and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. But again, we're not going to approve you to do something to harm yourself or like your academic pathways, okay? So that's to consider for that. Okay, great.
I wanted to go over some resources because like we keep saying, it's a lot, right? Balancing these college classes, special admin, high school classes, how can we help you with the college side of things? So some places that we recommend, the library, our campus library. So as students that are taking dual enrollment classes, special admin classes, you're a college student. So the college is available to you. The resources that we have on campus are available to you. So if you need a quiet place to study, maybe do some group work, whatever the case may be, you can use our library. You can use the language lab. You can use the language lab, especially for students who might have a hard time with Spanish. I know Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 can be kind of a lot, taking a college level language class, right? So you can use our language lab, our math tutoring, writing, tutoring. We have a lot, counseling, right? We have a lot of different resources on campus that are available to you as a college student. So really think of yourself as like, I'm a college student. Like I can, walk on this campus and feel really confident in using all of these resources that are available to me. So we just wanted to mention those. And then, if you need additional assistance, you can always contact us. So this is our email addresses. So myself and Maria, we communicate primarily with students. So if parents have any questions, I always refer you over to Ms. Contreras, or I'll also forward your information and just let you know you can speak with her because we deal primarily with students as college students. We can't divulge that information just so you know. So to start information, we have a calendar where you can make an appointment with Maria or I.
I just want to touch base on that. I totally forgot to mention the whole, you can't talk to college professors or college counselors as a parent. Thank you. So even though they're underage, they're still a college student and they have those rights. You can request as a parent their records in writing. You can give a written request for that. But as far as communicating with your professors or one of these ladies, please just reach out to me if you have any questions. And basically, I'm just there to help. But as far as checking in on their grades, that's something that the student's going to have to do. They can log into Canvas and show you where their grade is at. Or you can reach out to me. I always hear back from professors of like, hey, I'm worried about these kiddos. We ask them to work with us just to let me know because I want to have the ability for a student to maybe drop a course, take a withdrawal mark if they really need to, because I really don't want a student to get a D or an F on their college transcript. Okay, so I work with the professors, but by all means, if you are concerned or there's something going on, reach out to the school site, whether that's me or our assistant principal, Lisa Majori, somebody at the school site here can help you. I know you're like, they're underage, this is so scary, like what? No, I promise you, like everybody is here to support your child, but we are also teaching them to be their advocate, right? So a lot of times, students are like, I'm not going to be here. Do I tell my professor? And I'm like, yeah, because we don't do attend. You have to talk to them and tell them I'm going to be missing one class. Is that okay? And how do I make sure I stay on top of my work? So really, it shouldn't be different than you are with your high school classes, but with your college classes, you definitely have to advocate for that, okay? So as you see, they do have their dedicated days there on campus with us, but if it's a question pertaining to either dual enrollment or special admin, you can always call the department directly to ask some questions. Or you can always start with me and then see where we can work together to get you the support. Okay. Questions? I think that was the last slide, right? Okay. Now we can take some Q&A. I know it was a lot of information.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So you mean the ladies from teachers from outside college that actually here in this school Mondays and Thursdays?
Yep, they're here in
All day
room
long?
13A from, I think like 8 to 4:30. Yes. So we always say, because they're so booked, to do the Calendly link, the way that you can sign up is you can go on our website under the resources page for counseling, and that's how you can book the Calendly link. But I also just talked to Destiny, we're going to put a QR code for students on their door, just like I have on my door, so they can scan it with their phone and enter a request to visit with them. So yeah, that's a little bit easier, I think, instead of having to go through all these steps. Typically, we used to have students walk in, that's when we had like only 100 students. We're now at 300, so we definitely have to have an appointment procedure for that. Yeah. Physically here. Yeah. Yes. Other questions? Okay, so we're going to stick around if you have some individual questions, and we can definitely be here to assist you. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. And welcome back. Yes, and if you are going to visit the campus, let me just briefly say this. If you're going to visit the campus, whether that's the bookstore or the tutoring center, you actually have to upload your vaccination status to the Clear Core system to go on campus. Okay, so let me just have Lena just talk about that.
Hi, so Mount SAC has been open, and we're one of the few community colleges that have been open quite early and having students on campus. But part of the reason we have that is because we also are requiring students that are on campus to be vaccinated. So that once they register, and right now the policy is through spring, but when you register, that's how they know you're going to be a student. You're going to be registering during the spring semester for summer. So the student will probably get an email through their Mount SAC email from a do not reply, is where it comes from, and then you upload the vaccination status. So even if it's going to be here or wherever, but it's good to do because they have a system to drop students if they're not complying. And also, if they ever want to go on campus and use any of the services, they need to show proof that they're cleared through the system. So if your student is not vaccinated, that's okay. They can do online classes. And so that's perfectly fine. But if it's a special admit on campus, or if you think that they might be using services going on campus at all, it's just a good thing to do to make sure that it's cleared. And I know here, everyone knows the process here as well, I think, has had students help students do the cleared for a little bit.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, and we'll go ahead and push out how to do that again, just to get ready, just in anticipation that you want to go use those resources and how that process works. It's all done, through like the portal, and it's just a good idea too, because we also took field trips over there to get your physical ID card, so we hope to do that again, and the only way we can do that, at least in the spring, is going to be, it's turn by turn right now to see what's going on, but it would be a good idea, just looking at it.
Yeah, we don't know if the board's going to do it again for summer and fall, so it's just good to be prepared.
Yeah.
It's a very simple process. You literally take a picture of your card on your phone and upload it. It's really nice.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. Again, we'll stick around for a couple minutes. Have a great night. Stay dry. And we have an info session on Thursday if you know anybody who's interested.
So then they're going to ask you the same, wait, then you have 8 people to get. There's so many clients that have none, right? And then you have something that's like very
by May 31st, KW. Where is it? There, anatomy and physiology. I want to take that one. My mom really get it. She's passionate. She's passionate in it. She said it's really easy because it's really easy because it's the study behind body, like the contraception, thyroids, and all the other stuff. Hopefully I can take that.
It gets tricky. It's a lot of
because I just want to ask can do this part and how she maybe in medical pivot like biomedical engineering, etc. It's like, oh, yes,